Hi there, and welcome to my channel. The channel that I continue to call Work in Progress and Always Evolving. Yes, we are kind of a new channel, so we are evolving and probably always will be. And this is also a channel that I have had this vision of having conversations with everyday people just like you and me. I truly believe that we're at a time where it is most important that we really share our hearts with one another. And by sharing our stories, our challenges, our successes, our difficulties, messages that we would like to share with others, it's a way to really help one another because someone out there is going through what you're going through. So if this idea appeals with you, then just check below the video because there's my contact information, and just give me a holler and let's see if we can start some conversations. So today, what I kind of got a download about really from my guides was to talk about really what is going on right now on this planet and will continue to go on for quite some time. And that is this evolutionary process that we're in, the evolutionary process of our consciousness, of our bodies, of evolving basically from this 3D to I think they're saying like a 5D. It's all vibrational, it doesn't matter. But we're evolving. We definitely are. And so we're moving outside of this duality. And through this process, it's very, very difficult. However, what's been said by many is if you're on the planet today, you came on this planet for that specific reason to really participate and help in moving the human species forward. So with that in mind, I want to really kind of hone in on a few things about what it's like to experience being in this human body today. And I think there's a multitude of things that are going on, and we're each going to have our own particular experience of this whole evolutionary process. But we're all at the same time going through this process together. So what I'm finding, I think we kind of go through phases of this. Like for quite a while now, for me, what I've been feeling, and as I speak to others, they often feel similar things, is this whole sense of uncertainty. And on one level, this makes sense because the uncertainty is really what needs to be, let's call it accepted, meaning life is uncertain. But for most of us, we've been living in the through the imagined self, we've been experiencing the world. And that part of us, that imagined self, is really threatened by uncertainty. So it's a resistance to what is, really. So I believe that this uncertainty, this not knowing what's going to happen, but wanting to know. We want to know we have control. We want to know that we can change things, we can make things better. Who's we? The doer. The doer is that imagined or false self, right? Imagined person, false self, ego. You can label it any way you want. But that's where many of us are kind of either stuck or we kind of flip-flop back and forth. That's me. I can get into the space of really being able to be totally in the moment with just letting life kind of flow through me. And I can stay in that phase or stage, if you want to call it, for a certain amount of time, not a long time, by the way. And then I flip-flop right back into the imagined self. What happens for me, and maybe this happens for you, is when I get back into that imagined self, I know it because I start to experience lots of fear for no particular reason, in fact. It's not like something necessarily got triggered. I just have this uncomfortable, underlying, uneasy feeling. I can wake up with it, which I often do. Or it just pops up during the day. And again, there's nothing obvious about it. The way that I kind of work with that is I don't fight it, I don't resist it, I let it be there, as uncomfortable as that is, and then it passes because everything is energy, so everything is always changing. And then at the point when I kind of flip flop back to that sense of well being, so to speak, or, being much more aware of the moment and being in the moment. And I'm practicing things to help me stay there, whether it be, working with the body through yoga practice or definitely my automatic writing, which is getting me back in touch with the underlying stuff that's going on with me. And I can finally, a meditation, just kind of sitting with myself. And this will vary because, as life starts to get busier or stuff happens, I can get caught in that loop again. On the other hand, when I'm taking the time to really go within, inquire within, notice what I'm being triggered with, getting very aware of what's going on with me in each and every moment. That is where then I kind of move into that more knowing place. And again, I can be distracted right out of that very quickly should, life present what I don't like or what's a real trigger for me. Let's put it that way. And so then I can get very reactive to whatever it is that happened that I'm resisting. It always comes back, though, to me. The underlying thing is always this uncertainty because there's that part of me, that imagined self, that false self that I start to identify with, that absolutely wants control over everything, even control over the weather, knowing that this is insanity, that there is no control. There isn't even a doer here. There's just we could call it higher self, a spirit, whatever it is, who is having an experience of being human, right? We are spirit having a human experience. But when we get into this life, we incarnate, we forget who we really are. And this is where the game starts, kind of like hide and seek. Trying to identify again with our true self, who is really here just to observe and witness and have the experience of what it's like to be human. So, but today, to have this, to be on this planet, having this human experience, it is much more of a challenge than I believe it's ever has been in however long. Meaning the energies are so strong right now. This whole whatever is going on through this evolutionary process is intense. It's radical. I think the reason it is because it's kind of trying to kick us out of where we've been so we can move onward. We can evolve as a human species, and start having a completely different, more satisfying, if you will, human experience. So right now, I think that as we're on this planet at this time, and many people, by the way, say that any of us that are on this planet at this time came for the specific reason to help and participate in this evolution. Most of us probably didn't realize exactly what we were getting into. We didn't realize that the energies were going to be so kind of almost radical, that the whole experience was going to be, how do I want to say it? It would be more than we could imagine, right? But that's where we are, and that is what's going on. So having this human experience during this particular time is no walk in the park. And this is where I think we probably have to really have compassion and empathy for ourselves. I know I've been working on that for quite some time, and little by little I'm getting there, getting closer, I guess I could say, to actually feeling some compassion for myself. People call it self-love, whatever it's called. It's not beating ourselves up. It's the opposite of that. And with all that we're going through today, each one of us is going through it in a unique way. And if you look out at the so-called outer world, then we see things that we can't even believe are happening at this time, but they are, kind of. Part of the illusion, right? And part of this time is to wake us up, if you will. Want to use that word, wake up, or to kick us into another reality. Because if we're stuck in the reality and of the illusion that there's a doer here doing something, that we're in control, that we, rather than accepting what is, we're resisting what is, and by no means are we just allowing life to flow through us. And that's what is required today. When we talk about just let life kind of flow through us, it means there isn't that false self or imagined being that is reacting or trying to stop or trying to control what's taking place. This is a big requirement right now, but it's absolutely on time and most important. It's perfect or it wouldn't be happening. And yes, it is really pushing most of us to the edge of feeling fear, to the edge of uncertainty, to push us into a place of really letting go, finally letting go of what we think we are or what we think it is, and recognizing that's not who we are. We are spirit experiencing what it's like to be human, and we're in the body to experience that. And for those that have been going through it and have finally come out the other side, we could say, they speak all the time of the relief, the lightness that they feel, the lack of all the suffering. When I say lack, it's not lack of suffering, it's the woohoo, no suffering. Yet, so it's a paradox. They're here, like we're all here, but they are kind of underneath all the chaos and all the craziness that's going on, they have found peace. And that's where we're all headed. That's what's really where we all want to be. We want to be in peace. We want to be in a place of, I don't know what we want to call it, contentment. That's what I think of. Being okay with what is. And not having that voice in the mind that wants to tell us we're not okay, that everything's wrong, but to rather be in that place where we understand there's nothing wrong with us, period. Going through this, there's nothing wrong with us. We're just kind of caught in the movie, you know? It's like we're watching this movie, and we think we're the character in it. So it's complex and complicated in a way, and it may be even more so today, again, with all the energy that's happening out there and all the more chaotic ways that everything is showing up. It's certainly not making it easier on us, because I guess that wouldn't work. So, maybe it's like the cocoon, the butterfly. I don't know what it would feel like to come out of the cocoon, but you're being pushed out of it to become the butterfly. And, before it comes into a butterfly, it doesn't know exactly where it's coming or where it's going. And I think that's probably where we're at. We don't know. We don't, in a way, trust. We're afraid to really completely let go because we don't have an understanding or an experience of what that would be like, other than listening to others that have made it through the other side and speak to the peace, the contentment, the the whole different experience that they're having. For most of us, it's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden have this change. It's a step-by-step process. It's something that we're kind of being challenged with every moment of every day. And there's so many things happening around us that are, again, pushing us to the edge. So, in some ways, we really need to support one another because that's how we're going to get through this. That means, look at where we're judging. I know I'm using this as a practice. I watch each time I want to be aware of where am I judging someone else, or what triggers are going on with me that I think happened out in the outer world. So that getting more centered, it's all about where I'm at. It's all about how I'm reacting or judging. And this is not a easy thing to do. It's challenging. But as I'm doing it, as I find that each time I can have an awareness of where I'm judging, where I'm being triggered, where I'm seeing things that aren't even there, so to speak, I'm reacting or having the story in my head about something that happened, and now I build this huge story, of what I think happened, and then I catch myself in the middle of it. And once I can catch myself, even if I'm in the middle of the story, that's going on, that's never true, ever, ever, ever true. It's just we make it up. It's just made up. It's thoughts. It's whatever. None of it's true. And so a lot of times, if I can, and when I can, I kind of am able to back away from what it is going on in the story. And sincerely ask myself, now, is this true? Or how do I know this is true, what I'm thinking? Because I'm acting like it is, right? And as soon as I can catch that, it goes away. It's gone. I don't have to stay there. But until I can do that, I'm stuck in that loop, and I'm going round and round, literally in a loop of this story that's in my head. And so bringing it back to this whole thing of, what's going on right now on this planet, and this whole thing about uncertainty, this is what I think kind of triggers this whole idea of whatever goes on in our head. It triggers the whole sense of, we want to let go of everything that because we know it's not serving us, all the beliefs and all the programming and all the conditioning that we've grew up with and have also gathered along the way. We want to let go of all that because it's painful. It's struggle. And for a lot of us, we recognize that it is. However, we kind of get stuck in trying to move through that idea and trying to really get to the other side, which means we're letting go. We're letting go of control. We're letting go of what we think, the way we think things should be. We're letting go of the rights and the wrongs and the good and the bad. And yet we're still living in a 3D world, which is duality. It's light and dark, good and bad, whatever. But we can move to the other side and not get caught in the duality, because people are doing it every day. The one piece of good news, if we could say it that way, is that so many more people are waking up, are coming out of the dream, out of the illusion, and are beginning to really experience just life moving through, flowing through, and they're in the flow. And maybe why so many people are finally getting to that stage of peace, contentment, is because of the pressure that's being put on us today. So it begins by, I believe, and many agree, that it begins by looking within. It's all within us. It's from, within to out, not out to within. Looking at what triggers us, really being brutally honest with ourselves, to really be able to take a look at where we're caught, but at the same time, not beating ourselves up. At the same time, it's just a learning or a lesson or a way to help ourselves move to another level, so to speak. So, I know I'm kind of on a rant in a way, or I'm all over the place because it's so hard to really express this in one particular way. I mean, many of us, I'm one of these people that really can hear things through images or stories. And then depending on where we're coming from is whether we resonate or not with something, right? So, I hope somebody gets something out of this or learns something for themselves, or maybe notices something, maybe. And on the other hand, I know it's really, it's difficult to express what I want to really express with words, because really none of it's words. But that's what we have to work with, is words. So let me kind of wrap this up, if it's possible, to the bottom line of, there's so much energy on this planet right now, so give yourselves a break, because it's tough right now to be on Earth, planet Earth, on one hand. On the other hand, if we're here to participate and help through this evolution. That's what we came to do. So we're up for the challenge, And always try to remember, and this is something that's helped me a lot, is that there's nothing wrong with me. Regardless of what's going on, there is nothing wrong with me, and there is nothing wrong with you. There never has been, and there never will be. This is strictly a process we're all going through at the same time. All in our unique ways, of course, right? And so the best that we can do for ourselves is to not resist, allow, let energies move through us, and by baby steps, step by step, just put one foot in front of the other. We're going to have the good days and we're going to have the not so good days, right? We're going to have those suddenly a wake-up call or a aha moment. And then we're going to feel in that place of, I don't know what the hell is going on. I get nothing. That's what's going on right now. That's the new normal, if you want to call it that. We're just part of the crowd that's going through that. So, hope this helps. I really do. And I hope it made sense. I always hope that. And it's the best I can do right now, I guess I could say, in trying to kind of put this idea forward. For me, when I do these recordings, I'll find that I get a clear, not always, but a lot of times, just by doing this YouTube recording, I'll get a better insight a few days later. I'll get something that I didn't get at the moment that I can talk about the next time. It's really weird how that works, but I think it's the starting to express something that seems hard to express kind of then I begin to allow my guides, I believe, to get me more focused, and more aware, and maybe dropping some beliefs at the same time in for myself to better understand this. So that's probably the big reason why I do this YouTube, is I get a lot out of it. Now, on the way, I'm hoping that maybe some of you will get something out of it, and that we'll start to have more and more conversations with one another, because I think that would raise it to another level. I think when you have I find this for myself, when I can have a conversation with somebody kind of, we could say, like-minded, aware of their moving through the process, there's something that clicks, and there's an energy shift and I don't know what to call it, but just a sense of a better sense of just being, right? Just being who I am and you being who you are. It's kind of magical in a way. So that's the beginning of my little commercial, I'll call it for a minute, of reminding you that if anything appeals to you, or even if you feel a little scared, but you know you could have a conversation with me about something that you've experienced. And by the way, nothing's too small or too nothing or too huge to have the conversation about. It's just a conversation about what it's like to be human on this planet today. That's really what it's about. And since we're all, I think, human, or having a human experience at this time, then that's all we really need to share with one another, because that's where we come together and discover we're more alike than not alike. So one last time, I want to invite you to click below this video is my contact information, and let's see if we could have a conversation, right? Also, if you like this video, please click like, and hope that you'll subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel. And in the meantime, be kind to yourself. I say this every time. It's really a remembrance for me to be kind to myself as well. And I think that we're all in this time of where kindness really counts. But we have to work with it, because it's not a natural way for most of us, right? This world just hasn't, I don't know, been steeped in kindness. We could say it that way. And but it's time we do that now. So until next time, and I hope to see you next time, then take care.